They're not just voting for the next president of the United States. Voters will also decide on nearly 150 ballot measures that are on ballots in 41 states. These are policy proposals that can amend a state's constitution or create new laws.
We've heard a lot about abortion being on the ballot, right? Well, it is in 10 states, but there are other policy proposals that cover everything from how states handle marijuana regulations to voting procedures, economic issues, even immigration laws.
NBC News correspondent Maura Barrett joins us now with more on the ones to watch. Maura, good to have you with us. Let's go over some of the really important issues that people should know about before they cast their votes next week. These are the ones you should kind of prepare for, do some research before you go. Where are we seeing ballot measures that could really impact the way people can actually vote in future elections?
Good morning, Joe and Savannah. Yeah, there's 39 ballot measures in various states across the country, including Idaho, Iowa, Kentucky, Missouri, that all are looking to tighten voter restrictions. Basically, in these states, they're saying the policy is asking for American citizens being the only people that are allowed to vote. Obviously, in these states and in federal elections, that is the law as it stands, but they're really looking to tighten those restrictions around the narrative of undocumented immigrants voting. Obviously, this happens very, very rarely in very rare cases, and so election experts are wary of these measures in these Republican-held states because it allows Republicans to push that narrative that illegal voting is happening when it's not. And then when it comes to other proposed amendments, there are some questions around requiring voter ID in other states, along with questions on open primaries or ranked choice voting. So none of these would affect this election, but could impact your future elections in your state.
Maura, where are we seeing ballot measures that would amend states' constitutions when it comes to some of these social and economic issues, like reproductive rights that we've discussed a lot, and like minimum wage?
Yeah, these are the issues that ultimately drive people to the ballot box, right? They want to vote for the person they want for president or their leadership, but these are the policy issues that people say they really care about. And so advocates say, like Joe mentioned, make sure you do your research and then make sure you're voting all the way down the ballot. In terms of those issues specifically around abortion, you mentioned it's in 10 states. They're looking to basically impact the access to reproductive rights that we've been talking about for the last 2 years. This includes the battleground states of Arizona and Nevada, as well as the Senate battlegrounds in Montana and Florida. And then interestingly, this year in 3 states, Colorado, California, and Hawaii, related to what we saw happen with the overturn of Roe v. Wade, these 3 states are putting a same-sex marriage ballot measure on their ballot, looking to repeal that language from the state constitution because they saw what happened when Roe was overturned, saw those trigger laws take effect in other states, and they're trying to avoid that in the off chance if Obergefell was ever overturned, the precedent that established same-sex marriage as something that Supreme Court justices have suggested they want to revisit. Now, in terms of other important issues on immigration, Arizona is the only state that has this on the ballot, but it's a really important policy one because basically the policy that's been proposed would increase the federal the use of a federal database to check employment eligibility and also give state and local law enforcement agencies the ability to detain and deport any border crossings, despite the fact that it's been established that federal law enforcement have that responsibility right now. Now, finally, you also mentioned marijuana legalization. I think it's important to note that 4 more states, Florida, Nebraska, North Dakota, and South Dakota, will decide whether to join the other nearly half of the states in the country that already have legalized medical and recreational marijuana. And so those are just a handful of all of the ballot measures that people will be looking at on their ballot next week.
Great job running them all down. So I have to admit, I didn't know much about ballot proposals till I moved to the West Coast. And they're very much a way of life out there. But it begs the question, how do these proposals end up on ballots in the first place?
It can kind of vary state by state, and so that's something that you'll have to check out depending on the state that you live in. But one option is that lawmakers can propose a ballot measure. They discuss it on the House floor, and then they vote on it in the state legislature. And so that's kind of an easy way to get it on the ballot. The other way is that citizens, every average day people, can propose a ballot measure. That then requires you to get a certain amount of signatures from petitions of people, in your neighborhood if they want to also put it on the ballot, and then that goes to a vote as well. But that's something that an easy way for people to get involved in civic engagement or getting to build a relationship with your lawmakers so that they can propose the ballot issues that you're looking for.